5:40 on CHEX Daily. Sometimes math gets the same reaction that the ribbon worm gets, and that's not fair. And to explain a little bit more, Kate Winn is here.
Hello.
Hello. You were looking at attacking math. What is it about math for some students that makes it so challenging and frustrating?
Well, it's interesting. I think it's parents who are looking for ways to make math more interesting for their kids at home. I know Oxford Learning asked me to write a post about this because they had so many questions about it. Parents wanting to know how can they keep their kids from sort of trudging along, you know, in terms of mathematical concepts. So, I mean, the first thing is make a game of it. There's so many games, just old-fashioned board games. We try to do Saturday family night board games. It doesn't always happen, so I won't lie and say that it does. But a couple weeks ago, my younger daughter picked Yahtzee. And so there's tons of learning to be done there with Yahtzee. And a lot of parents, too, when they think about math, they're thinking about the number sense strand, the adding and subtracting, and they need to know their multiplication facts. But I mean, here in Ontario, we have 5 different strands of math. And so things like patterning or data management, probability, measurement, all those sorts of things, they all still count for math as well, right? And so it's not always just about the facts and the numbers. So things like Connect 4, Battleship, all those sorts of games.
Poker, blackjack.
Yeah, there you go. We played 21 with the girls on the weekend, too.
There we go, see?
Exactly.
It's true.
And that makes it a lot more fun than...
Yeah. I struggled with making math fun because math was the least fun subject for me going through school. I felt like I could not figure out the way that they wanted me to do it. I couldn't do it. I'd go home and I'd learn all these loophole methods of getting it done. Then I'd go to school and they'd say, that's wrong, you have to do it this way. And I couldn't conceptualize it.
And you know what, we're not so much like that anymore. We're more about doing things different ways. And that's another thing we talked about growth mindset here on the show a few months ago. That's right. And talking about how we want kids to embrace challenges. And so as parents, too, we want to make sure we're not just looking for the final answer, the final mark. We're encouraging kids to be persistent, to show their work in different ways, to keep on task, to embrace those challenges, and that can really help them in terms of their math mindset too.
I would have been a lot better off growing up in this era as I did when I did, I think.
I'm sure.
It's come a long way, education. It will continue to grow.
For sure, yeah, and books can be helpful as well. We always talk about like parents cuddling up and reading books to their kids for the reading aspect of it, but sometimes kids can get drawn into mathematical concepts with different books. And I just pulled a few off my bookshelf at school, but I mean, M&Ms, counting, like what's more fun than incorporating chocolate with your learning, right? Different books, I mean, this one's got different kinds of skip counting. This one's all about telling time and having a concept of time. The next one is time as well, because kids don't understand what can you do in a second, in a minute, in an hour, especially younger kids getting those sorts of concepts. So it's not about like worksheets and drills, it's about cuddling up with a book.
But we do this with our kids all the time, just a minute, it'll be 5 minutes, or you've got 10 minutes until bedtime, and and then you say it's bedtime, and they're like, what happened?
Yeah, so timers, those sorts of things can make math more fun for them as well too.
Oh, man.
And what else do you have there?
So this one, Greg Tang writes a lot of math books for kids, different concepts. There's a whole series of them which are good as well. Lemonade for sale, it's got graphing in it. The kids are selling lemonade, graphing how much money they've made and how many cups they've sold. And symmetry, something else a lot of times grown-ups forget is math, thinking about pictures and that sort of thing too. So it's not always just about the numbers.
Yeah. What about like playoffs right now? You know, we were explaining what best out of 7 meant in our house to an 8-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely.
And trying to explain that and who's in score and who's in the lead and how much do they have to win, that kind of thing.
And that's real life, right? Depending on what motivates your kid. Talking about hockey might be the way to do it, or getting them involved in things like with money or with baking or with any of that sort of stuff. Sometimes kids don't buy into the math if they think, well, it's a school subject. But if they realize mom and dad are using this every day of their lives, all these different mathematical concepts too, it can help make it more real for them.
I just wanted to bring up one point. My math teachers all told me through school, well, you know what, Johnson? You're not going to be able to walk around through life with a calculator, so you better learn this. I just wanted to say you were wrong. Every phone has a calculator. But no, if they had made it more fun and more interesting, my parents, I remember, introduced me to the Super Solver series, which was all video games. And that actually helped me a lot through elementary school.
Yeah.
So.
And what about drumming?
And drumming
and beats and patterning?
And guitar playing as well was, if I'd been better at math, I'd probably be a much better guitar player now too.
But you're right though, the apps, the websites, I did a Twitter call out and parents mentioned Prodigy, Dreambox, and Mathville, all as popular ones that they like to use with their kids. So the screens can pull them in.
Yep.
This mom loves, she's a blogger, she's a teacher, she's a mom, she loves math. She likes to teach it too. She is Kate Winn and she joins us for Teacher Teacher. Thanks, very, very great.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you once again, and we've got a roundtable coming up very shortly.